So, to the left we have the Samsung Q8FN, to the right we have the LG G4. The Samsung Q8FN is from 2018 for anybody wondering, and I'm just going to pause right here and just kind of let you sit on that for a minute. When I tell you people like Tech with KG are lying to you, and people like, again, anyone, literally don't care what YouTuber they are, is lying to you about the LG G4 when they tell you that it's so amazing out of the box, they're fucking lying to you. And especially when they try to tell you my settings are cartoony, they don't make sense, they're oversaturated, preferences. Okay, here we're gonna open up our setting. We're in cinema mode, okay, which is a reference accurate mode. We're gonna go down to the advanced settings. Here's my remote, me doing it in real time, okay? I'm gonna hit advanced setting. I'm gonna go all the way down to reset. We're gonna hit reset and bam. Now we're gonna back out and you're gonna see I didn't do anything. Again, that is as unbiased as a day one G4 as you're gonna get. So you whip it out of the box, that's what it's gonna look like. Going up against my settings on the Samsung Q8FN, which again came out in 2018, you tell me which one has the better picture. When I saw this, okay, it blew my mind. Look at the three-dimensional pop and depth coming out of the Samsung Q8FN. I'll let you do the math as to how old a 2018 TV is versus a 2024 MLA, blah, 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 blah. And just take a look. Take a look at what they are lying to you about. If you have a Q8FN or something old like this, just look at the colors you're getting on the horse. You can actually see the fucking colors. You can actually see them. Like, back in 2018, they wrapped quantum dots in metal, for anybody that doesn't know the history behind this, and those quantum dots wrapped in metal produced some of the most vibrant, most explosively beautiful colors we've ever seen, because in tandem with that, it was also over 2,000 nits of peak brightness by my measuring, by the way. Nobody wanted to report that. I measured it in real time. I don't know what it is with this AV community, but when I report certain things like a peak brightness level, they have to say it's lower. Or when I say a TV performs better, they say it performs worse. It's almost like they are directly contradicting everything I say. And to which people have argued, you're directly contradicting them. No. Okay. This is your LG G4 that every professional told you is amazing. They told you how bright it is, how wonderful it is, how lovely it is, yada, 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 yada. It's not. Look at it. Look at it, man. I don't need to lie. You whip your TV out of the box, which one looks closer to a deer? I'll pause right there. This TV came out in 2018, folks. 2018. This TV is brand new 2024, and if I told you I upgraded from my old piece of shit Walmart TV, I bought a, what do we got? I bought a fucking Sano, I bought an Emerson, this is my old Emerson, and I updated to the brand new LG G4. You'd fucking believe me. And I know you would. Because that's how bad the damn thing looks. This is an LED, by the way. That's an OLED. Oh, let that sink in. Let this sit. Let this simmer. You have guys like Tech with KG wanting to run their mouths off. Digital trends, stop the FOMO about how wonderful this is, right? It can't even beat a 2018 TV rocking my settings. But my settings are oversaturated preferences. Pause right there. Anybody starting to feel this in the room right now? Anybody really starting to feel the gravity of what I'm putting forth? How serious what I'm saying is? Look at the highlight detail, the three-dimensionality. Everything is out of this world on this fucking Samsung Q8FN. I'm blown away. Like, I've never been so proud to own a TV like I am right now to own the Samsung Q8FN. Because if we pause right now, you're not going to tell me that doesn't look better than that. It's a washed-out puke fest. I mean, and I've already shown you guys the fucking Pickle Princess, which in this comparison, I think we'll do again. To see if the Samsung Q8FN has it. Look at the fucking water, man. Look at that. Dude. Come the hell on. And like, remember back in like 2018, I was getting a lot of shit even from LG guys back then with the LG C8 at the time, which was a 2018 model. And I remember a lot of people really being so mad saying, oh, an LED could never look like that. Comparatively to an OLED. Here we are, a few years later, and we're still doing it. And we're doing it against the brand new LG G4. And the best part is, since that time in 2018, I've acquired an LG OLED, and it's still, I don't have to lie. And I think that is like my biggest superpower above all these other guys. I don't have to lie. I can look any and everyone in the face and say, I don't give a fuck who wins, and actually not give a fuck. I can pause in examples like this and say, look at the fucking settings I created for the Samsung or Q8FN. And now I know I said Samsung S, and people are gonna be like, no, that's that quantum dot OLED. It's really not though. You see, I have the metal remote. I don't know if you can see this. This is for the Q8FN. For my boys out there, you know, back in the day, we had some luxurious ass TVs, and I actually bought the metal remote so that I could use on my Q8FN. Because my Q8FN is that fucking badass. And back then, we used to have to hit the home button, which is like right here. We hit the home button and we pull up the home screen, which you already see as a Q8FN right now. But then we're also going to go over and you can see, again, it's old school. This is what it is. This is the Q8FN. And again, if you don't believe me, I'll go down, and we can go into about this TV, and then we can see what this TV is. And in the model, you probably can't see it there, but it says model code QN55Q8FN-B. That's what I have. This is exactly what I'm showing you. And it's rocking my settings, and I'm using standard. I won't show you my settings because that's exclusive for members, which they already have the settings, by the way, and they have had them for years. But you get the idea. I'll go ahead and hit play. You see, I'll pause right here, and I'll point some things out. See, back in 2018, Samsung didn't have an OLED, but they were going up against OLEDs. Now, this TV only has 40 zones of local dimming. So they knew they needed to create something so fucking amazing for a fucking junior flagship TV that you'd run out and buy it. And this ended up being so good, it actually was better than their Q9FN flagship at the time, which was more diluted and washed for colors because they were listening to purists like HD TV Test at the time and everybody else bitching, oh, it's too vibrant, Samsung's oversaturated, Samsung's cartoonish, the same shit we still hear today. And as a result, Samsung's highlight and tone mapping is out of this world to the point where I have not seen anything quite like this ever again. You can see the sun in the sky right over here and just how sharp it is. I mean, if I could bring you in on this side, it's so sharp. You can see all the detail in the clouds, everything. You see everything and want for absolutely nothing. You want for absolutely nothing. And a picture like this, it is absolutely to die for. Like, I'm looking, if I told you that was the OLED, you'd believe it. The blacks are deep, right? Because we're not in a totally like 100% black screen. And if we were, it would turn off. We're not in some stress testing scene. Look, pause right there. There is no bloom at all on that display. This isn't an ISO trick. I mean, you can still see my hand. I'm at ISO 500 for anybody wondering. So I'm not crushing the blacks out. I don't have to. That's how good this TV is. Right? An example like this, I mean, look at the water. It speaks for itself. That's the LG G4, by the way, in Filmmaker mode out of the box for anybody that's unaware. Which one looks more like a sunset? We'll pause right there. Right? I'm in the Spears and Munsell UHD benchmarking disc, the brand new one for 2023. And we can go ahead and open up our LG and show you in real time yet again, in case we forgot, cinema mode. Go down. Hit reset, and it looks like that. But let's say you don't like that. You want an even more reference accurate mode. You're not using the ISF mode. Okay, let's go to the Imaging Science Foundations mode. So to do this, we are going to hit the select mode. We are going to scroll all the way down past Filmmaker mode into, will be nice, ISF Expert Bright. We're going to hit select. We're then going to go down into advanced and then reset. To which you will be met with, again, a fugly wonder of a TV. Which one looks like a sunset you've seen before? I'm just saying. I've seen hues in the sky at night that looks like that. I've seen a wildebeest that looks like that. It's probably not actually a wildebeest, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I've seen animals that look like that. I've seen mountains that look like that. Like I've seen things like that because I live in the mountains, guys. I've seen this before. Right? I'm blown back. I'm fucking floored and shocked. Y'all are paying $24.99. This TV, when it retailed, shit, I can't remember the exact price. I want to say like, it was at like, shit, I want to say like $16.99 and then immediately dropped down and we could pick these bad boys up for $15.99 and then $14.99 shortly after. And it's beating it out of the box. And again, if you don't want to rock my settings because they're just an oversaturated preference, explain this. I dare you. I dare anyone to explain how the ISF mode, pause right here, I don't have any fucking blooming. I said this back in 2018, y'all. I'm gonna open up my ISO. I don't have to lie about the Samsung Q8FN. We're at ISO 1000 right now. I don't need to go clipping out all the information to show you what I'm talking about. And you can see I'm at ISO 1000. My hand got brighter. I'm in a dark room right now. ISO 1000. I don't need to lie to you. I'll go even higher. Let's go even higher. I'm ISO 2000 now. You see my hand even clearer now. I don't need to lie. Why lie? There's no fucking need. There is no blooming on the Q8FN, and there hasn't been. It is destroying an OLED. I mean, I'm gonna let you sit on this. Look at. There's no blooming. If you stare as hard as you possibly humanly can, there's maybe a slight light trail that'll happen around here, and slightly around here, and around here. If you stare as hard as you possibly can, look at the color difference. I mean, when I tell you this was the OLED Slayer, it's the OLED Slayer. I'm not joking. And people hated it. Oh my God, the names I got called, the things I heard. It was like an uproar of uproars. And here we are in 2024 doing it again. The OLED Slayer right there. The Samsung Q8FN just slayed another OLED. Because if you don't pay $499 to get my settings, you will never, I promise on God, ever see what I shown on the G4 when it went up against the S95D and it beat it. Well, it didn't beat the S95D, but competed with it, right? You'll never see it. You'll never see a vibrant G4 like that ever anywhere else, which is why you haven't. Go on YouTube. Everything's fucking blue. Everything's dead looking, right? I'm going to lower back down my ISO back to where it was at ISO 400 so we can see details, right? Or 500, sorry. ISO 500. And again, which one has the more detail? That one for me. Which one looks more red? That one to me. I'll pause right here. This is a QLED, folks. This is a second. Hear this right now. Okay, really sit on this. This is a second generation QLED. The very first QLEDs ever made was technically the SUHD line, which wasn't QLED. Then the Samsung with the 2016 SUHD line, which they didn't call QLED. And then QLED officially rolled out with the Q7F, Q6F, Q8F. I believe Q8F. Yeah, that was a weird curved one. But regardless, now we're at the Q8FN. And I'm just saying, when you look at it, it's bodying a brand new television. The details back then, I would say, they really were all about turning HDR images or SDR images into HDR images. And they did it in real time. And they did it so well across the entire processor. Nowadays, they claim that shit and it just looks like trash. I'm just saying, right? I'm just throwing it out there, right? I'm just saying. I'd be willing to make a bet right now that if I were to go to movie mode, right, it'd look better than the LG G4 if I hit reset. Let's try that out right now. I've never done this before because I've never had a G4, right? So we're going to go on the Samsung Q8FN. We're going to take our remote and we're going to go to our settings. And then in our settings, we're going to go into our modes. And in our picture modes, we're going to go down to movie. And in movie mode, we're going to hit reset. We're going to reset everything. Look, I'm going to go down. Screw all the work I did. I don't care. We're going to go ahead and hit reset. Now, the only thing we're going to do is we're probably going to turn off that energy solution thing if it's on, which it's not. And let's look at what we have. I still see better detail on the Samsung, but I'll give LG the color. I'll give them that. You've passed, I suppose. At least they were able to beat baseline calibrations from that time period. I guess maybe they've learned a thing or two, right? And I think this is where the illusion of it being a better TV comes into play too. Because again, in real time, I'll open up the settings and we're in ISF Expert Bright. And then we'll go down and we'll hit reset. So you see that I'm not lying. And when you watch YouTubers, they'll go, oh my God, the Samsung Q8FN can't compete with the LG G4. It's so amazing. You're failing to tell people the truth. And the truth is simple, really, when you look at it. It's simply this. When I go into my settings on the Samsung, and I put the time in to make actual settings for the Samsung, it goes from that to that. There's a difference, and it's huge. I mean, you cannot make this up if you tried. You could try, but you'd fail. Because now you start to see what was once colorful on the LG start to fall apart really quickly because we're not calibrating to a 30-year-old reference standard. We were calibrating for picture quality. And when you calibrate for picture quality, you start to notice things that you never noticed before in all of your imagery across the board. It comes together in a new light. Look at the squirrel. Hold on. You're moving so fast. Look at you, squirrel. Which one looks like a squirrel you've seen in the real world before? Can we really say we've seen vibrant flowers, beautifully brown squirrels, or did it look like this? I mean, let's be real. Let's be 100% real with ourselves. I'll show this in real time. Press and hold your settings. Go to Filmmaker mode where my settings live. And it looks nice, but it would look better if you go 111311, open up colorimetry, turn on BT 2020 to expand the color further. Once you do that, your squirrel doesn't look as dead. Now we have my settings going up against my settings. Now that squirrel's looking a whole lot better on the LG G4, isn't it? It's not looking at quite as bad. There are things I could point out. The white on the squirrel is more pure. The color on the fur is more natural, right? That has a little bit better depth though, because self-emissive, right? But if I don't put my settings in there, right? I'll go ahead and hit play so you can see. If I don't put my settings in, you will never see flowers that look like that. It'll never happen for you. Instead, let me show you what you're going to see, okay? For anybody that's wondering, this is what the default modes are. This is what they do. We're going to go back into our colorimetry. We're going to hit 111311 to activate our HDMI signaling override menu. We're going to turn off BT 2020 because why give color that they don't give themselves? And then we're going to go back into cinema, and then we're going to go back into advanced, and then we're going to go back to reset, and then we're going to hit reset, and you're going to see exactly what your shit looks like. This is what they do. That's your reality right there. You just got beaten by the Q8FN rocking my settings. Where before, at least your flowers had some color, right? But people like to say that everything that I do is oversaturated when they can't beat it. Because there isn't a soul alive on YouTube outside of me that calibrates past the 30-year-old reference standard. Nobody does that. Because that's not the calibration way. I created a new method of calibration. You're seeing it in real time up against something that has been calibrated. This is the ISF modes. These are the ISF modes, right? Check me out. I'll show it again in real time. You see the red? Look at all the color. You got beaten so badly. Now let's see what happens if we do it again, all right? Now for anybody wondering, if you are using my settings, the LG G4 does edge out the Samsung Q8FN a little bit in some areas. Other areas, not so much. Game mode's a big one. We're going to go ahead and go BT 2020 again. And then we're going to go back to my settings in Filmmaker mode. And then voila. This is what your TV would look like. A lot closer to that Q8FN. But by itself, the LG G4, just not getting it done. Or maybe is it? Depends on you, depends on your preference. I say side by side, they look a little too similar. They look very identical in this example. I wouldn't want to pay all that money for something that looks identical to a TV from 2018. This is why I tell you that the LG G4 is problematic. It's dated. Doesn't make sense. Now in this example, it has more color coming in over the horizon. It's beautiful. This does have less color. That's what my settings though. And that's what the stuff they tell you is oversaturated and not to do. So if we're going to go by my settings, the LG G4 wins. The LG G4 beats the Samsung Q8FN. Now let's see what happens when you go by what HDTV test tells you to do. 111311. Never touch colorimetry. BT 2020 just expands the color space and oversaturates everything. So turn it to auto and let the TV do it itself. Okay. Also, let's go to reference accurate mode. So we're going to go back down to ISF Expert Bright. And then we're also going to go into make sure I reset it because maybe I'm just not being fair. So now this is what it looks like in your ISF mode. It just lost now to the Samsung Q8FN because when you have literally a sunset scene, a dusk scene, it should look like dusk. I am not even joking when I tell you the only way, literally the only way at this point you are going to see what your TV is worth is if you learn how to calibrate yourself or you get somebody like me that knows how to do it. Now, I'm going to point something out that people aren't talking about with LEDs. Certain LED manufacturers like Samsung back in the day had decisions that they needed to make. One of the biggest was, do I choose to brighten everything up like the Ferris wheel and give all the details, or do I crush down that brightness for the sake of preserving my blooming and not having that? Samsung did just that on the Q8FN. So anytime there's a bright Ferris wheel like now, you won't see all of the detail like you will on the LG G4 where you have all of that detail. Before it'll get really dim and it'll start crushing a little bit. Not to the extent that they tried to pretend, saying, oh, it's totally star crushing, you have no detail, yada yada, but that's something that they tried to say. Now in this example by itself, you can see what it looks like. Now comparatively to the Q8FN, it's not hard to see why I say the LG G4 looks like shit out of the box, and that's just the ISF mode. That's the ISF bright mode. Let's go into the cinema mode, which is what most reviewers will tell you to do. Cinema mode. Go down, advanced settings, reset. And if you reset, it is what it is in real time. Okay? All of that detail and color information looks amazing on the Samsung Q8FN. That looks like the new TV by comparison to what you've just paid for. Now let's say you don't want to do that. That's not realistic for you. You're going to rock vivid mode. You've just ruined your information in the image entirely. Everything's clipped. The tree is clipped. The sky is clipped. You've destroyed the image. Congratulations. Big difference. All right, let's say we want to go to standard instead. Okay, congratulations. More of the same. It's still clipped, very blue, and extremely flat. It's just really bright now and overly cold. To give you guys an idea of how cold it actually is, go into advanced settings. Make sure I'm being fair. We're going to hit reset. We're going to go into our color where we'll see color set to 55, but it's at dynamic color. Now the color temperature is set to what? Cold 20. Cold 20. LG has done this for years. This is how they trick you. This is how they dupe you into making YouTubers think that, oh my God, it's so amazing. Because they have to think it's amazing if they keep saying it every year, right? Versus cinema, where everything's washed out. So you either get cold 20, dead, washed out, or warm 50, everything flat, low contrast. These are your only options. When these are the only two options you have, you either hire a calibrator, calibrate to the same dead, washed out look, or you tinker yourself to try to get a better picture that you know something actually looks like. Like you've seen trees, you've seen bodies of water, you know what shit looks like, right? So you start calibrating. Or if you have TVs that I've worked on, you join my membership for $4.99, literally $4.99, and you sidestep this whole nightmare. Literally. Go to Filmmaker mode. And just for anybody wondering, my default Filmmaker mode settings look better even without touching anything. Showing you that a calibration has happened. Looks better than anything that they have in the TV by default. Because if you look what they have by default, you got standard, that destroys the image. You got vivid, that destroys the image. You got cinema, that destroys the image. And then there's me. That's a big difference even before we add BT 2020 corrections. If you didn't want to do that, you wouldn't have to do that. Now, if you're like me and you're greedy and you want color, you're going to go 1113111, open up your HDMI signaling override, and you have BT 2020, and there you go. Now you have some greedy color if you want. And now that looks a whole lot nicer than what we have here in a lot of ways. And then you hit play. And then you look at what you got. This is not hard. It's really not hard. We'll pause right here. The only way LG gets that color is with me. Sorry. Some people say it's narcissistic. But is it really narcissistic when I can show you in real time that I'm going to go back 1113111 to the default, and I'm going to turn off all the color corrections that I added, and I'm going to go back to the cinema mode, which is supposedly reference accurate. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit reset again just to be dramatic. And then you're going to see what it actually looks like, and this is what they're selling you. Is it narcissistic to say that the only way you get real color is with me? Because tell you what, those orange leaves don't exist over there. The ambient light hue on the ground and on the trees don't exist here. The sky's rich color doesn't exist here. At a certain point, you have to kind of own the fact that the only way you're really getting a picture worth a damn is with me. It's not arrogance. That's just a fact. I know what I'm doing. I mean, that's like your mechanic saying to you when you're in the auto body shop, the only way your car is going to get fixed is if I fix the car. That would ultimately, for most of you, turn into a no shit moment, right? You'd be like, well, you're the mechanic. I didn't go to mechanic school. Well, I'm the calibrator. Most of you didn't go to calibration school. Most of you didn't learn how to do any of this stuff. So it's not arrogant to say that I know a little bit more, especially when I've created my own in-house calibration standard. I mean, you're seeing the results. Professionals versus me. Let's go ISF. I'll challenge the ISF directly. I'm not afraid to challenge a solo live. I'll challenge an entire body. Look at this. ISF and their expert bright, they're best. Their best and their brightest couldn't even touch me. Look. This is going up again against the Samsung Q8FN from 2018. More detail. You can see the cow. Detail in the sky that you don't have here. Starting to see the picture? Pun intended. Is this dramatic? Yes. I understand this is an extreme flair for the dramatics. But I have to do it this way. Look at the alligator. Look at the fucking alligator. Look at him. What the fuck, man? This is blowing my mind. I've spent more time on this comparison than I thought I was going to. Because I'm so shocked. Literally so shocked by how bad this looks. And I thought we'd whip out our little pickle princess, but I don't think we're going to even need to. I really don't think we're even going to need to, because look at the differences that you're seeing right now in just a regular comparison. When you go tit for tat, the black levels are inky. Every bit as inky, damn near, is what I'm getting on the OLED. Especially in scenes like this with a high contrast bird and a black background, I don't see any bloom at all. Not on the Q8FN. This TV is old, folks. You'll probably find one on the used market. I mean, really, let's call it what it is. It looks amazing, though. I mean, it's not like the G4 is terrible, right? But let's say you're one of my followers. You're one of my members. You own a Samsung Q8FN. Take solace in the fact that you are going to get a better picture than every single LG G4 owner that just bought the TV, whipped it out of the box, or hired somebody for $500. You are getting a better picture than all of them. And you're sitting on old technology. QLED from 2018. You don't need to upgrade. There's no need if you're just going to do that. I'm just saying. Proof is in the pudding and the results are undeniable. People don't have to like it. This could put a lot of people in their feelings. I don't give a damn. Because when I say I'm the best in the world at what I do, I've challenged the ISF directly. I've challenged so many bodies directly, so many people directly. And those challenges go unanswered because they can't answer them, because they didn't create my in-house calibration standard. I did. And I'm using it to show you these TVs peak their full potential. To which I have people like Tech with KG who can't do it. Try to say, oh, he's just showing oversaturation. He's just showing his preference. It's not a preference. It's a fact that things look a certain way in the world, and I'm showing it. If you like this, smack a like on this video. Join for $4.99 so that I can get more units and start comparing across more units and help you with better settings like what you've seen in this video and experience the wonder of your television, because I'll give it to you. But that being said, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.